Hi there everybody, Mike Jones here and welcome to the P45 project and we're on to episode 6 already, so moving along now, and I really actually feel like I'm starting to get a bit of a handle on what I'm going to have to do to actually pull this whole experiment off and not look a complete fool to the whole wide world and actually make some money. I've been very lucky today because both Jackie and Cora, the ladies who were kind enough to do an interview with me last week, have really spent some time just helping me understand some of the finer points to the whole kind of money side of things and physically what needs to happen for the money to get made, and really that's where we left off last time. I've got a bit of a plan to put together, but obviously the whole thing hangs on physically what needs to happen for that money to get put into my bank account, and that's exactly what we've been working on and on finding out today and doing the research for that. So I've watched a couple of videos and I mean, it is a little bit convoluted. I'm not going to go into all that here on the blog today because if you're interested, then get involved or something. You don't need all that, but I just wanted to kind of cover off the main points because I know some people are keen to know exactly those sort of details and how I'm addressing those as part of the marketing activities that we're gonna have to get on with next week. So I've actually managed to get hold of a presentation that was quite useful in just getting my head around the sort of main points that we need to understand this. I'm just going to bring that onto the screen. I mean, and actually this is kind of a recruitment tool that the guys use when they're explaining the whole forever opportunity to people, but it's just absolutely brilliant in spelling out for me, here's how you make the money, Mike, which is what the question was. So the first sort of key concept that I came across is this concept of case credits, as they call it within the business. It's a bit of lingo there that's specific to forever, but it's kind of like an internal currency, a way of measuring sales volume, and it's actually quite clever because what it allows them to do is trade internationally and actually really simplify that for anybody who's ever been involved in international trade and dealing with different currencies and all that kind of thing. You'll know what a nightmare that can be, and actually this just simplifies taking a business international like you wouldn't believe, because the case credit is a case credit. So that's really cool, and effectively then, so one case credit, if I had a case credit note in my wallet, it would be for a retail value £227 here in the UK. Obviously that differs from country to country depending on the country. So it all, once I've understood that, the rest of the things started to kind of fit into place a little bit, because essentially what you've got is you've got different steps up the ladder, and really it's just, again, I mean, relating it back to normal business, this would just be kind of like how you would never know that you were reaching these steps on the ladder, because it's just an ongoing kind of treadmill trying to get to that point. And make more money effectively, but this actually gives some real structure, which I think is great for somebody that's not used to being in business or is new to business. It's such a fantastic thing to have an actual structure there that you can look at and see where you're at, where you're at in comparisons with other people, and how that relates to what money you're going to make. So there's actually a level below where I've come in, because I bought into I actually bought a proper distributor pack and set up properly. I'm already kind of one rung up the ladder, which is pretty cool. So you've got the very sort of bottom level, which anybody can get involved at this level as a new distributor, but you've really got to sort of claw your way up and get started from that. So I've come in at this level, assistant supervisor. Which I think is really cute that you get a proper little title and everything. I might even put it at the bottom of my emails. That would be cool. But most of the point, it's the important factor here is the commission that you get, and actually you get two kinds of commission. You get direct profit that you make from just selling the kit. So I sell an item, I'll get a percentage profit there and then for actually retailing that. So that's the first way that I make some money. In addition to that, being at the level that I'm at, I also get like a kickback at the end of each month, like a bonus payment, and that's actually where stuff starts to get really interesting, and where there's potential there to make good money as I start to scale this business up, because of that residual effect of other people actually making me money as well as I bring them in. Because at the next level of supervisor, I should have some people in my team. Just a point on that, guys, for anybody following along with this, one thing that's becoming very apparent in this whole scheme, and as I'll highlight towards the end of this video, is I am going to need to build a core team of people that are quite close to me in this whole experiment. So I mean, that's quite exciting for anybody getting involved who's perhaps new to business, or who wants to learn a lot about, especially the internet marketing stuff that I'm obviously a specialist in. It might be a good time for you to get involved, because I'm going to have to sort of install into those particular kind of key members into the team some of the tricks of the trade that I'm going to use to actually make this happen in an accelerated format. So if that's something that's of interest to you, there is a contact form on the P45project.com. Make sure, just drop me a line. Maybe it's worth us just having a chat over Skype. You know, obviously I know I'll get a lot of people getting in touch about this. So, you know, you need to be able to kind of follow along with the project. So you need to have, you know, 5, 10, 15 hours a week. You need to be interested in doing some proper one-on-one coaching with me and actually adopting some of the systems that I'm going to be developing to make this whole thing happen. So as long as you've got that, it might well be worth us having a chat. But anyway, drop us a line and we'll see about that. But actually, it's just put a whole new slant on how this experiment might pan out, because what I can see will probably happen is, for a few key people specifically with it that are very close to where I am in it, there's going to be some silly opportunities to learn very quickly how to make a business happen, sort of, you know, in no time at all really, but using some of the internet marketing stuff. So that aside, and really that's, again, it's all part of that money making thing. As I start to bring people in, what actually happens is when they make sales, I also get a commission on their sales as well, and that all counts to the greater good, sort of thing. And it just keeps going and going. Effectively, that goes sort of 5 lines down. So that the whole drive, if you like, the thing you're trying to get to is this title of manager. Which, again, I'll definitely put that one on my email, on my email signature, that I'm a manager. That would be cool. Joking apart, I mean, again, for those of you that are new to business, I think it's just a really neat way of allowing you to draw parallels between the corporate or you know, public sector worlds that you might be used to, where this kind of very rigid structure and sort of corporate hierarchy is how you're probably used to things being. Whereas on the other hand, you know, when you're from my world of self-employed, owning businesses, and you know, there isn't that structure. I sometimes struggle to even tell people what I do for a living, let alone what my job title is. So I really like that about it. And actually, at that point, we're already well on our way to being where we want to be with the project. I mean, as you can see there, and really what I wanted to just do was create a model that would allow us to know what the end result's going to look like when we get to the £1,000 a week mark, because that's our big goal. So at that point, if I get to be a manager myself, I'm going to be earning around about the 1,200 plus a month mark, which is actually really interesting, because I'm looking at what's involved in doing that and thinking, well, we should be able to do that quite quickly and quite simply. And you know, and that's great. And actually, you know, £1,200 a month, that's lovely. But you know, it's not. I'm not getting overexcited about that. It is just what it is. But in actual fact, when you look at the national minimum wage and you look at the average earnings around the country, to be earning £1,200 a month from your own business, potentially within a few months of getting started, is, I mean, that it's pretty special. It's you know, it's not something to be sneezed at whatsoever. So that in itself is quite exciting, I think. But moving on, because obviously that isn't good enough for where I need to be. There are a few more levels, and really what that boils down to is me achieving that sort of initial promotional level, if you like, but then literally helping others to do exactly the same thing. And I think that's really where we start to leave corporate, you know, normal business behind, because what would happen at this point, if I'd just built my own little business up selling these products, I'd be all happy with myself, and I'd just be scratching around wondering how I'm going to sell more and how I'm going to sell more. So the whole thing would be dependent on my ability to retail more product directly, which is limiting, and that's why a lot of businesses fail, because you've got a whole world of growing pains there, like, you know, being able to delegate, having correct systems in place to ensure that stuff's managed, you know, being run correctly. All those problems start to rear their ugly heads. Whereas actually with this whole model, the only thing I'm interested in doing is saying, right, I've done that, I'm done, I've made my little business. Now what I'm going to do is coach somebody else to make their own little business and do exactly the same thing. And actually, as by virtue of the fact that I've done that, you know, I'm going to make even more money, which is quite a nice way of going on, if you ask me. I think everybody's a winner at that, and it's so far away from, you know, your average business where everybody's just in competition. I mean, certainly you wouldn't get two retailers selling the same product working together in you know, the normal world. What you'd usually get is the two of them doing everything they can to undercut each other, you know, lose value in the price, all sorts of horrible things going on just to try and make more sales. So I can see how this is going to work. I can see how the numbers fit together. I mean, the bottom line is, as I said, without boring with the grim details of the actual thing, for me to get up around the £1,000 a week mark, what we need to do is get to the point where I've got at least a couple of people in my team. In actual fact, I think the obvious target to set is 5, because effectively what that means for me is I need to set my sights on finding 5 key people that I can work with very closely, so I'm not stretched too thin, I'm not trying to train up a million different people at once, just 5 people who are serious about sort of, you know, taking their lives in a different direction as part of this project. If I can find those 5 people and give them and sort of stamp into them the skills that I've got, along with the business model that Forever's got, I think 2 things will happen. First of all, we'll get to, as a project, I'll get to £1,000 a week in no time whatsoever. But equally, the guys who are part of that team will also be earning a good amount of money very quickly as well. And you know, that would extend this whole experiment well beyond what I'd even thought about, you know, in the first instance, which really was just to kind of show that with a bit of hard work, you know, you can change your financial situation. All of this centers around the fact that you've got to sell stuff, and that's something I really like. You know, it's I'm going to do a bit more research as to the whole why, you know, pyramid selling, because a few people already have said to me, oh yeah, that's pyramid selling, and that's not really the way to term it, because I mean, there's all the you know, the Ponzi schemes and the rip-off things in the 70s and all that stuff. This ain't that, because if it was, for a start, I wouldn't be involved in it. And secondly, the things that doesn't work, you've got to set them up as a scam and expect to go to prison if that's what you're going to get involved in. Whereas clearly this isn't that. And I think one of the key fundamentals to that is that people have to actually buy products, and that's where cash is introduced into the business, so people can therefore make money. I mean, there are other things as well, but that's sort of a very key concept. So I mean, the sort of takeaway I think from this whole sort of bit of research I've done here is you've got to sell stuff. I've got to get that sort of initial little business functioning. The amount that looks to me like as a personal business, I need to turn over on a retail basis about £1,000 a month. So 12 grand a year annual turnover, 12 to 15, let's say. As a business. Now, putting that into perspective, if I was sat with my bank manager saying, Mr. Bank Manager, I'm going to make a business and all I'm hoping to do is get it to a turnover of £15,000, he'd laugh at me and say, you're never going to make any money from that business, mate. Go and do something else that makes proper money. And ironically, that's all I need to do with this situation, and then show other people how to do it. And actually, you know, there's plenty of guys doing it already. I probably just need to copy what they're doing to a certain extent, and it'd happen anyway. So it's pretty exciting. You know, one of the things I'm going to be thinking about quite heavily between now and sort of next week, I've got some other stuff to do some research on before then, but one of the key things I'm going to be figuring out is how I can turn over £1,000 a month retail and show other people to do it quite easily. I think if I can solve that problem, then this is all going to work out very, very well, and I'm not going to look a fool. but it does remain to be seen. I'm going to leave it at that for today. Tomorrow, I'm hoping that I'll have found out just a bit more about the operations, how I actually transact stuff, what's available, and all that kind of thing, and how that's going to fit together. But for now, I'd like to thank you for watching this episode. Please do leave your comments on YouTube or on the website over at the P45project.com. Don't forget to subscribe. We will be releasing some exclusive sort of behind the scenes videos that only people that are on our list will actually get to see. So don't forget to do that. But once again, thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.